Central Texas. Welcome to KISS Community Connections at 1031. And I am Phyllis Jones, your host. And I'm also, I'm the guest too. So I'm two people at one time this morning. We're going to have a nice talk. Got a couple of things we need to discuss and talk about, and we are. Um, we've had an interesting week, a busy week, but we've had a very interesting week. A lot of things happened this week that we will be discussing. So get ready. We're going to talk about it. First of all, the tragedy happened this week. We learned that a young man in Atlanta, uh, according to the police, he had a bad day, but he went and shot some Asians in the Asian community in Atlanta, which was bad. Terrible when anybody decides to, take out violence on a certain segment of people or a certain group of people. It's always sad to hear that happens. But the most interesting part is how it's reported. Yes, this is, like I said, it's a tragedy, but the flip part of it, it's interesting how things get reported around. When African American male is doing something, whatever, right or wrong, well, and he gets shot for doing something, the other person gets to say, well, I was in fear for my life, so I shot him. And they get away with it. We can't get away with it, but they get away with it. Well, with this shooting with the Asian community, first thing one of the officers from the police department said is, oh, he had a bad day. For real, really. So you get to have a bad day and shoot only one segment of people. Not you get a bad day and just open fire on folks. No. You go, I have a bad day today. There's some Asians over there, and I'm going to go and shoot them. It's really strange the way when something happens, how things get twisted and turned around by other people. It's interesting to hear, that African Americans, we can't have a bad day. We cannot have a bad day and go shoot anybody. If we do, first thing that's going to happen is we're going to get shot and end it. But this young man wasn't shot. And like I said, he got to say, I'm having a bad day. And as we know, the young man who went into a church in the South and started shooting, they caught him and they took him to Burger King to get some food. So I guess he was hungry. But, these spins are, I want to do everybody notice that we notice. And I don't know if all of us notice, but heck, I notice. Because all these scenarios aren't saying what's really happening, and it's racism. But, they're not saying that. No one's saying that. It's just simply being said, oh, well, it's happening, and it's been given other names. Such as I said, the guy at the church, hey, he didn't really give an answer, an excuse, other than the fact that he was hungry, and they took him to Burger King to eat. Mind you, the police took him to Burger King before he went to jail to get something to eat. I've never heard them taking anybody else to get something to eat before they go to jail. Never. Second, this other young man, he gets caught, but he gets away, but he gets to state, I had a bad day. For real? Seriously. But we don't get an excuse. If we do something, we're junkies, we're drug addicts, we're somebody, but we don't have a bad day. So the world needs to wake up to that, and we need to understand it. We need to understand exactly what's going on. But the other part is what we miss to be that. When something happens to African Americans, to us, melanated colored people, when something happens to us, everybody else says I feel sorry for them. It's very sad at what's going on. That's what we hear. And if we rally in March, except for George Floyd, when we rally in March, it's usually just us. We're the ones rallying. We're the one marching. Those of us who do, but it's just us. We don't have a left-right support system. We are our own left and right support system. But what I'm saying is now, this shooting of Asians And yes, it's been going on for a while. We know that. And it started when Trump decided to say who was the fault of COVID. I'm not blaming him for this, but I'm just saying it began real heavily then. These mass shootings and beatings and all these things that are happening. But my point in saying this is this: we as African Americans, we do have feelings like everybody else, but we're always expected to jump on your bandwagon or somebody else's bandwagon when something happens. Now, I'm not saying that the Asians deserve to die. Nobody deserves that. But what I'm saying is, everybody looks to us for help, and they look. Aren't you helping? Don't you feel? Yes, I feel sad about it, but I have my own battles to fight. I'm not saying hope that everything works out. I really do. But we, as melanated skin tone people, we got our own battles. We do. We have our own battles. Our voting rights, the Senate has not voted on them yet. Do y'all realize that? Your voting right. They haven't voted on that yet. And the Senate is not talking about it. They're like sweeping it under the carpet. We have so many things that we need to get done ourselves as melanated skin tone people. We do. Our rights are voting rights, which is the one right we fought for, and the one right that we know we can control. And what I mean by control is, those of us who say my vote don't count, if your vote don't count, why are they trying to suppress it? Okay, so, like I said, I'm not saying don't help another, nationality that's having a problem. I'm not saying that. But don't drop our issues to say, you know what, we can wait. Let's go over there. No, we can't wait. No, we really can't wait. Our voting rights are being taken. We can't wait. Texas, if you listen to your governor this week on his forum talking, he signed it into legislation a bill for no voter fraud. Excuse me, newsflash. Texas had like 2 cases of voter fraud, but he's signing a bill against voter fraud. Well, you got to understand what he's signing. He's blaming voter fraud on voting by mail, something we have a right to do. Having all these precincts open all these days is theirs. Now, I don't know, also, did we pay attention to, in 43 other states that have governors that are Republican, they all filed the same bills. Did y'all know that? They all filed the same bills. All of them did. All the governors, they did the same thing. Did you realize that? No, we didn't. We didn't. I understand being sympathetic about an issue, but don't distract it from what we need to get accomplished. Because see, the thought process is that we are the forgiving people. We are, oh yes, it's okay what you did to me. I'm okay. That's us. That's who people consider us to be. So we're easily diverted someplace else. So this week, the Asian issue happened. Like I said, I'm sorry that it did. It's very bad that, someone gets to just open fire because they feel like it and targeting a set of people. That's wrong. But let's not forget what our issues are. Let's not forget what we are still fighting for. Even though our ancestors and forefathers marched, died, and all this for the right to vote, it's still, every time you turn around, when it's time to renew it, there's a problem. There becomes an issue. Oh my gosh, I really got to do, yes, you have to do this. So it's ready now. It's up right now. Your Senate, if you've been paying attention, they've talked about everything else. I mean, they've talked about everything. They haven't talked about that yet, have they? Nope. Have you heard them say anything? Nope. Are they going to say anything? Only when we push them. Only when we push them. And if you notice, this week, when the shooting in Atlanta, they didn't talk about it. They didn't. They went like over it. It happened and whoosh, it's gone. They're talking about something else. So now the whole thing is voter fraud. Well, there's not an election until 2022. It's the next election. But they're getting ready in 2021. See, that's where we lose the mark at. See, we don't think that far ahead of paying attention. Now, we're not dumb by long. We're not. But we're easily diverted. And people love the fact that we're easily diverted because that means we don't have our eye on what's going on. So right now in 2021, they're preparing for an election that's going to happen in 2022. Now, we as a people, we're not going to pay attention until when? 2022. We are. In 2022, we're going to wake up, shake our heads. Okay, it's election this year. What we got to concentrate on? We got to do this, we got to do that. Oh, wait, by the way, did you all know in 2021, they passed a couple of laws that affect voting? We'll say, no, they didn't. Yes, they did. Well, that was last year. Yeah, right. They did it a year early so that you won't be involved in it. So you won't have a chance to say anything about it because they're going to, well, you didn't pay attention. We made it public. Did they make it public? Yes. Yes. Where were we? Someplace else. But we weren't listening. We didn't have our eyes on our prize. We need to pay attention right now because our governor, Mr. Greg Abbott, he's having weekly town hall meetings now. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? Did everybody know that he's been having weekly town hall meetings? Bet you didn't. But guess what? Yes, he has. He's been having weekly town hall meetings. We need to pay attention to what he's saying at these town hall meetings. But also, there's something else we got to pay attention to. You know, one time, Dan Patrick, who is our lieutenant governor, and every time you saw you saw our governor, Abbott, you saw Dan Patrick with him. You saw them together. Guess what? They're not speaking now. They're not talking to each other right now. Is that important for us to know? Yes. Should we keep that going? Don't know, but we need to know that. Because, see, right now, there's a weak link in the chain. You know, for us, for our chain, somebody's always looking for the weak link. Well, guess what? It's one in their chain now. You got the lieutenant governor who basically runs the state. If we pay attention, the person in charge of our legislative session is not the governor, it's your lieutenant governor. They're not talking, they're not together now. Lately, you have not seen them together. You have not. All the town hall meetings that Abbott's been having, you haven't seen that person called Dan Patrick. Not been there. If you pay attention to the sessions, if you have been, because you can watch the sessions online, if you pay attention to them, you don't hear anything of him saying, well, the governor wants this, the governor wants that. You don't hear that. You don't hear that. And this week, when the governor was talking about this voter protection that he's going to sign, who did he have standing with him? For those of you who saw it. Those of you who didn't, he had some legislators standing next to him. They spoke. Now listen to me. Your Speaker of the House and your Lieutenant Governor run the legislative session. Your Lieutenant Governor has a choice and a power to not let something hit the floor. He does. Him and the Speaker of the House, if they're the same party and friends, they can block things from coming before the floor. They know how. But this time, the Lieutenant Governor hasn't said much of anything. You don't hear him with the governor wants this and this is what he's going to get. Haven't heard that. Haven't heard that at all. And I listen. I listen. When I realized that the governor was having weekly meetings, no. It's time to listen because he's changing what he's doing. He didn't have weekly meetings. He started having weekly meetings when COVID kicked in. Well, that's because we were in a state of emergency and nobody knew quite what was going on and everything was new. You know, so everything that was new, yes, he reported it. But he still didn't have weekly meetings. He had, bi-monthly meetings, but now they're weekly. They've changed. Technically, wonder why. There's no election in 2021, but there's one in 22. His election comes up in 22. So he's working today. He's working right now. Look at all the things that he's doing. Opened up Texas, causing a nightmare and a mess. All these things, are coming about. Why in 2021? Because we're not paying attention and we're not looking, and they're just thinking ahead. That's all. They're not doing anything illegal. They're thinking ahead and they're plotting on us. But they're thinking ahead. So guess what we need to do? I need you to sit up, shake your head, just shake all the cobwebs out your head, pull out your phone, your tablet, your computer, your laptop, whatever device you got, key yourself in. Get plugged into your Texas legislative setting, events. We're in the 87th legislative session. Jump on it. Google it. And look what's coming ahead. And you can figure out how the vote's supposed to be. Just look at it. Because, like I said, the game has begun. We're still asleep. See, the game has begun. And over here to the other side, here's this shooting of Asians. I'm not going to say it happened in St. But so now the country, some people, wants us to divert our whole entire body over there to this Asian tragedy and stay over there. You need to stay over there. Because, see, this week, when the governor held a press conference, it was after the tragedy. So you know what? You had a lot of people following this tragedy that happened because people want to know what was wrong with this boy. But what about the governor's press conference? His little town hall meeting thing he got. What happened? What happened to that? You didn't pay attention to it because the news successfully diverted you away from there to something else where they want to divert you to. They want to pull at your heartstrings and divert you over there. Be careful. Many of these things are going to happen this year. You know why? Because we can't be focusing on the Voting Rights Act. We can't focus on that. Now, remember, I'm being sarcastic a little bit there, We do need to focus on the people. We need to be weighing in on it. We can check Facebook, social media, sit around, nothing, look at television, and I'm going to say really tell live vision. We're going to sit around and look at that. Well, divert a couple of minutes of that to go to your legislative session. Divert a couple of minutes of that and go and listen to your governor. Let some of that be the talk of your time. But people, by all means, please start paying attention. The games are out there. The games are ready to be played. They are playing. And we're not looking. We're not paying attention. So we're going to be, oh, man, how did it happen? When your eyes were closed. It happened when you were looking at this show. It happened when you could have looked at this show and your tablet at the same time and did both at the same time. We can. But that's when it happened. That's when it happened. Because our thing will be, our question, when did that happen? That's our favorite one. When did that happen? It happened last year in March. So in 2022, we're going to wake up. It's an election coming. We need to get ready. We're going to wake up late because everybody else has already been ready and did what they're going to do. And what are we doing? We're waking up. We're opening our eyes to what's already happened. It's already done. So people, wake up. This is the perfect time to do so. We can do two things at one time. Yes, I'm talking a lot of politics because politics drives our life. And we need to understand that. We need to know our vote counts because if it didn't count, they wouldn't be passing all this stuff to stop us from voting. So next time you hear somebody else say that, our vote don't count, then why are they trying to block it? Why are they trying to make it hard for us to vote? Why? Because our vote does count. We proved that. We've proven that time and time again. So we need to take those words out of our lips and throw it in the garbage because our vote does count. It does matter. But it won't matter if they don't vote for it. And it won't matter if we sit around and we allow it to just go untalked about. It will be our fault. It will strictly be our fault. And also it will be an expectation. It will be an expectation of, let's divert them over there, then they won't see over here what we're doing. How many times has that been done? A whole bunch. A whole lot. So you know what we need to do? I'm going to say once again, I'm going to utilize this tragedy. The tragedy with the Asians, yes. I'm concerned about it. I'm not going to march. I'm not going to, formally throw my hand in and go, what do y'all need me to do? But I'm concerned about it. Yes, I am. guess what? I'm an African American female. Um, and we're all melanated to skin tone, whether you're African American, from the islands, Jamaican, and all that. We're all melanated skin tone people. We have enough issues of our own to fight. We can't afford to take our eyes off the prize. Now, we can glance our eyes over there, see what's going on over there, and then come back to what we're supposed to be doing. That's what we should be doing. I'm going to pay attention to what's going on with everything else, but then I'm going to go back and focus on the Voting Rights Act. I'm going back to focus on that. I'm going to go back to focus. Now, guess what? This week, there's going to be a rally in Austin for the George Floyd bill. It's going to be a rally in Austin at the Capitol for George Floyd. You can Google it, find out more information about it, or Facebook it. But there's going to be a rally this week. So this week, what we need to do, I'm going to tell you what we need to do. Once again, you need to pull out your tablet, your laptop, your computer, your phone, whatever device that you use. You need to email. Yeah, I said that word called email, yeah. You need to email Sophronia Thompson. Why you need to email her? Because she fathered the bill, or mothered the bill, I guess I'll say. She mothered the George Floyd bill. So we need to be emailing her and letting her know. Remember, I told you last time about the white pages. We need to go back and send her an email, let her know we support it. And you need to get some other people, just simple email. We support the George Floyd bill. Because, see, this is going to be an uphill battle bill. We need to know. It is going to be a fight. And the fight is that his family just got awarded all that money. And now y'all want a bill? Really? Why? Now, inside this bill is calling on the police officers to also act. And what I mean by the police officers to also act is this. When that one police officer had his knee on George Floyd's back and neck, right in the little spot right there, the other cops were standing there looking. Da 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 da. They're just standing there. Okay, that was then. The George Floyd Act will make them stop doing da 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 da. Oh, I wonder when it's gonna stop. They can't do that anymore. They will have to intervene. They will then have to intervene and do something to get that cop away from that person. They're gonna have to be a part of this now. See, before they were the looking part. Right now, they're the looking part. I don't have nothing to do with what he did, so I didn't do anything. Well, that's the old part. The new part, if we pass it, it's we. It's not just it's not the you didn't vote for you voted for the legislators and now they're on their own. No, there's not that. There's no. It's still a we thing. Still we. So we need to back Sophronia Thompson in her bill, so that if this happens again, if those cops are standing there watching and that person dies, those cops are guilty too. Those cops are in just as much trouble for watching as that cop did for what he did. If we back Sophronia Thompson, who's one of our state legislators and who mothered that bill, we got to back her if we want this to change. We as a people, we put her in office, but hey, she got other ones she got to battle with. We need to help her. So pull out your little device. Let's just email her. Like I said, the rally is this week. I believe it's Thursday. It's going to be at the Capitol. For more information about it, it is on Facebook. I'll find it and share it back again. But it's on there to the rally for George Floyd. I can't be there physically. I can't. But I know they're going to do it. I know it's going to be online somewhere. So I'll watch it online. I'll be at work. We go back to work on Monday, those of us who work for the school district. But I will be back at work, but I'm going to be there on Facebook. I'm going to be right there. I want to know what's going on. And if you can't go, support it by watching it. If you can't go, support it by sharing it with everybody. Because these things are us. See, these things are us. They are actually us. They're ours. And we need to focus on it. And we need to step up to the plate and start doing things. And not just saying, they wouldn't do that. Really? Yes, they would. Yes, they will. We need to stop that too. but we need to make sure that we got our ducks in order, and let's do what we need to do for us. Don't let something else divert us from what we need to do. Stop doing that. Stop letting the news know how to control your way you think, because they play on that. They play on that really well. And some of us, we fall right into the trap, and we stay there in that trap. And it does get to be a terrible place to be, because while you're focusing on something to the left, on the right, they already got you. They already got you. And remember, the news plays the game just as well as everybody else. Yes, I'm not saying, oh, the news is always wrong. They're not. They're selling news, but they know how to get us over there. How? Just make it sound enough, and we'll move over there. Well, melanated people, stop moving over there and leaving the other side empty, and then find out on the other side when you come back over there. How'd that get there? How'd that pass? How'd they get to do that? Because you were someplace else. So let's go back and let's focus. Let's get things right. I'm not going to say take back, because we didn't give it away. But let's take the time to realize that we're stronger than who we think we are. We're put here, and we are the strongest. We have the most endurance. We can take anything and deal with it. We're melanated skin tone people. Let's act like it. Let's go back to being the warriors that our ancestors were, that they left for us. We need to put that warrior outfit back on, shake yourself a little bit so you can get in back in that groove, and we need to become warriors and fight for what's for our people and fight what's for us. We need to do that. And like I said, stop being diverted. Just stop it. Stop it now. So that's what my soapbox is for that. I know I had a long soapbox, didn't I? But that's what I want to talk about. Now, the other part I want to talk about is our precious little people. We've done we've done them some injustice. Some of us have done justice, but we've been doing them an injustice. And I'm gonna say the end part as this. I'm the secretary for Bell County Child Welfare Board. What we do is we take care of the kids in kinship and foster care. I know, how do we take care of them? We have a room in every CPS office in Texas has a county child welfare board. So every county in Texas has a child welfare board. You might not see them, hear from them, or whatever, but you have one. So we have one in Killeen, covers Bell County, which is 3 CPS offices. In those offices, we have a rainbow room. In the rainbow room contains everything a child needs to start out on a new life. You name it, from a kid from birth. Yes, I said birth. Some people lose their kids when they're born. They're gone. From birth to 17, we have everything in there that they could possibly need to start off somewhere new in a new home. Everything we give them is new. We don't want to have used things. You got taken from your home. The last thing I need to give you is a bunch of used clothes. So we do give them new things that belongs to them before they go. We take care of kinship kids also. Kinship kids, as you know, it says just that. Yeah, your sister, mother, whatever, somebody goes to jail and the family takes them. You become a kinship parent. Or the family best friend can also get them in your kinship. We help those families because they don't get a monthly check. They get one check. One check. And thank you and a goodbye. And we help them out a little bit more. We help them out in 2 ways. We help them out, first of all, with their rainbow room and us having everything in there. Second ways we take care of the kids is the kids will send us a letter. For instance, this 16-year-old kid gave his caseworkers a letter to give to us. And the letter was that the young man has a job. His foster parents could take him home, from his job. They can pick him up from his job and bring him home. But they can't bring him to the job because they work also. All right, so he wrote and asked us for a bike because he needed to get back to work. We looked at the letter. We voted overwhelmingly, let's buy the bike. So we bought him a bike. Not just any bike. We bought a good bike because he's riding to work every day. So we bought him a bike, everything, the gear that goes with it and all that, and we presented him with the bike. we do those things also. But since last year, with the pandemic, more kids are being taken from their homes. We find that out because we have monthly meetings, and the CPS um, manager comes to our meetings, and we get to find out what's going on and what do we need to do, because we're always doing something to make things better for the families as a whole. So we had our meeting and we're talking, and we've asked her about the removals, and you know what she said? They're removing like 25 kids a week lately. Did you hear what I said? 25 kids a week. There's 100 children that they're removing from the home. Some of them, return back a little faster. Some don't. They just stay. That's a lot of kids. I asked her, do we need to come there and hold class now? Because 25 a week. So my question is, I'm not blaming us, but where the heck are we? Do we see this and ignore it? Do we see this and walk around the store in the aisle, find the kid screaming, look at the kid, he's okay. Or, do we say, I'm not looking, I don't want to get involved? Because that's a lot of kids. 25 a week is a lot. I thought she would be, 2 a week. And I'm like, that's bad, but, 25, and out of the 25, you actually have at least 16 that's going to be, moving forward and on and out. But wow. And then we have the other part is we have parents who medically cannot afford to take care of their children because their children have something wrong and they can't medically take care of their child. So they give up half of their rights to CPS so that they can take care of the child. And that's done. Yes, I know you didn't know, but that's done too. And then you have parents who have told them lately, I can't deal with him no more. You take him. Well, guess what? CPS does take them. But you got to pay the child support. Got to remember that. Because you removed your kid. They didn't. So we have all these things going on with our kids, which is trauma. That's where I'm going with that. That's trauma. Then we learned that with our special needs kids, the state doesn't have an agreement with an agency that offers the care. So our kids are being transferred out of state. So not only are you leaving your parents' house, you're leaving the state. What does that do with visitations? Surely you're not going to have them. Because let's say your child's in Michigan and you're in Texas. We know it costs more than $100 to go round trip, come back. But our kids are facing that now. So our kids are going through social and emotional, nightmares because they're losing those skills. Kids that's taken away from their home, period. That's a tragedy. Waiting to, oh boy, destroy some more. And then you have kids who are the low man on the totem pole, and when it's time for get the beat down, that's the kid's going to get the beat down. Because you figure period has been happening, but last year, in March, when we didn't go back to school, to parents, a nightmare set in. Because parents realized at that point, I'm the parent, and now I'm the teacher. Are you kidding me? I got to teach? Well, I'm not saying parents are dumb. I'm a parent. I can teach my kids how to tie their shoes if they close. All those cool things I taught my kids. Was I equipped to teach them their classwork? Heavens no. Because some of the stuff has changed. I wouldn't have known what it was. I wouldn't have freaked out and beat my kids. I wouldn't have done that. But right now, that's what's going on. Parents, they want their kid to stay home. And I agree with the kids staying home. They didn't want the kid to get COVID from the disease, from the other kids. So I got that. I understood that. I have no problem with it. But parents found out that teaching their child is not the same as teaching them to tie their shoes. Teaching the girls how to wash dishes. Teaching math, whoops, it's not as easy. So we had some distress going on. The parents at their wits' end, and it's not working. Then you had the other little kids. Little kids are little creatures of nature. Everybody is, but they really are. You had kids that didn't. Come on, go to school. Now, come on, you do your homework right here at your work. School, your teacher sent it. They ain't going to do it because they're not in school. They don't believe you, and then that's not going to do it because you don't have that command that your teacher has at school. So they're not going to listen. They're going to lay on the floor, They're going to flip out. Oh, my gosh. You're going to have a nightmare. Child abuse sets in. It does, because the parents at their wits end. As you remember, they had their kids from the second week of March to August. They had their kids at home every day, home. Somebody had to stay with them, home. Kids start doing crazy things, start playing games, start living in the game. Their life was the games because they were at home all day. One, because of the pandemic, we were on a shutdown. And the other, they were, hey, it's not no motivation. There's none. Kids couldn't get in the car and leave, go home, leave home. I'll be back in an hour. They couldn't do that. So they were at home. And once again, they're bored. They start acting out. Parent comes home. Why are you doing this? This is this, that, boom. And bam, here comes the whooping, the beating, some of the mistreatment. Because our kids are the lowest people on the totem pole. So you know what? We need to now become the village that we say we are. And we need to watch out for our children. They are our precious little gifts. Sometimes, yes, we go, where did you come from? But still, they are our little precious gifts. So when we see something, we need to say something. If we think something, say something. Because if you think it gets investigated. If it was nothing is nothing. But if it gets investigated and it's actually something, then you save the child. You did something that we're supposed to do. You saved the kid from getting something or something happening that didn't need to happen. We need to do that. Like I said, 25 kids a week, that's a lot. That's a whole lot. That's a lot. This is only March. This is March. What are we going to do? And then the other part is we don't have enough foster homes. We don't. We don't have enough foster homes for all these kids. One of my coworkers was talking one day, and she was like, girl, I want some more kids, but I'm not going to have them. Okay. And I'm like, all right. I said, what about adoption or being a foster parent? She said, I did that a long time ago. I'm good. We're short foster parents. She's now going to be what? Foster parent. She has boys, so her 2 foster kids she's going to get are boys. She jumps into the system because after she, filled out the paperwork, went to a little workshop, went to little classes, she learned how short we are. So now she's got 2 boys. So her 2 bigger boys got 2 little boys to be a big brother to, and she's helping the community out big time. And, she's taking on the burden of 2 kids, which is great. And I love that because somebody's stepping up to the plate to do it. A lot of people want to be foster parents, but their background says you can't be one. Their background says no, not today or tomorrow. Too many of us forget about those things when things happen and we have to go and do something like that. But I just want to say watch out for the kids. Listen. When you hear a child in the store screaming, each scream that you hear means something. Each scream is different. Every scream is not the same scream. Sometimes kids scream and you listen to it and you realize that is, I want some toys, and this time my mother said no, versus I asked her for something, she smacked me in the mouth, lips swollen. That's a different scream. So we need to watch. We need to pay attention. We need to be visual. We need to stop saying, I'm not getting involved in that. I don't even know what happened. Well, guess what? If I see you punching on your kid, I don't want to, I'm not going to walk up and say, hey, what's going on? No. I'm be like, 911, guess what's going on? That's what I'm not going, no. And I'm not going to go, well, looks bad. But then again, I don't know what the kid did. No. We don't need to do that either. We need to actually step up to the plate, make that phone call. And if you are saving a child, great. If there's nothing going on, that's good too. Because at this rate, they don't want to take no more kids. They don't want to take your kid. They want to protect them. And like I said, our children are our precious jewels. They're defenseless as far as, their parents knocking them around a bit. They're defenseless in that. We're not defenseless. We actually can do something. We can actually step forward. We can actually come up with a program to get this kid out of the house. we can do that. We can make sure that a lot of things happen for the betterment of our kids. You know, staying on our kids' topic, as you all know, in one of my many other lives, I do a bunch of things. And I'm the state education chair for NAACP. We had a conference call last week because our conference call was talking about kids and their social and emotional differences and problems they're having with, both. So we talked about counselors. I had a friend on there, Dr. Jones, on the conference call, and we were talking about counselors. And we got into the fact of, do our counselors know what the heck they're doing? I mean, because we were talking about, certain things we see in school. And we found out that, guess what? Texas does not have to hire licensed counselors. Did you hear me? It's up to your district if they want a licensed counselor. I'm saying licensed. Did you know that most of your counselors around here are not licensed? So do you know that they legally aren't, what you want to call it? They aren't the counselor that you think that they are. They're not the counselor if it's a mass shooting. That's not what they can handle. They can't handle that. That's not what their license says. So that's why they get outsiders to come in. I know you hear when tragedy schools. Well, we had some outsiders come in. You had outsiders come in because the ones you have aren't licensed. And we became concerned about that because our kids with social and emotional skills that they're losing, if they were in the fourth grade when the pandemic started, they did the whole fifth grade at home. They're going to go back to school in the sixth grade. They left in the fourth. They're going back in the sixth. First of all, they've been in the house for a whole year. That's traumatic. And now when I left school, I was in elementary. I was still in the coddling group. Where you coddle the kids in elementary, we do that. But you were in that group. Now you're going to you better get your work right. Sixth grade. All your friends, you don't know where the heck they are. You don't know. But you're going to another school. You didn't get the prep rally part, all the things and the gradual change. You didn't get any of that gradual change over. You didn't get that. The kid didn't get that. But guess what? There, right now, today, there is nothing to put that together. Nothing to put that together. KISD is working on a plan. For real, seriously, this is March. The school year's almost over. They're working on a plan. So there's no plan right now. None. Scary to me. It was even scary to find out that Texas does not have to hire licensed counselors, and most of the counselors in these schools are not licensed. So that means I've been having expectations of a counselor that I shouldn't have. That means if I had a kid in my class who's stealing pencils, I can talk to them one-on-one just as well as she can counseling because she's not certified. She don't have a license. So this is not her job. It's above her pay grade. So I can do a one-on-one with that kid and give him some candy and whatever and here's some stuffed animals. I can do all that. We can do all that. But they aren't licensed. So, I contacted one of the politicians on the education committee, and we discussed that. I'm like, hold on. So he first thing he said to me, it's on the books. It's going to be voted on this week. And I looked it up. There it was. Bam. Certified counselors. Whoa. So it was on there. It was sitting right there. I'm like, dang, y'all going to bring it up. I'm good. And we, like I said, we discussed it. And it was about 20 people on the call from 20 different areas of Texas. We had a very interesting call. We all decided that we're going to move to Huntsville. We're all moving there because in Huntsville, I know we're bigger than Huntsville, but I don't care. They gave all their people Chromebooks, not tablets. They got Chromebooks. I'm like, okay, we're moving there because we don't get Chromebooks. All our kids didn't even get a tablet, but they got Chromebooks in Huntsville. So we decided we're going to move there because, dang, they care. But on there, like I said, we learned about the counselors. And with that, there came a major concern with me, and it should be with you, that we have nothing to catch those kids. Can you picture you leaving school in the 7th grade? You did your 8th grade at home, and now you're going to high school. Whoa, wow, wait, stop. Where was the progression to get you there? It didn't happen because you were virtual. Where is it? It's not there. You don't get it. It doesn't exist. It's not there. So you know what? Time to step up to the plate again. We got school board elections. This coming up in May. May 1st, actually, is that Saturday election day. And then 2 weeks before it'll be there. But these candidates, I want to be on your school board. What you got for that? I asked one of the candidates running, and he gave me an intelligent answer. He told me, what he would do is, reach out to the community for some assistance and help and build that position, build that up. Because it might not be a school thing, but it could be a community thing. Hey, I liked it that because guess what? We have a whole bunch of counselors that are licensed, and they have their own little practices. Some of them work for KISD in the day, school counselor, and they work in the evening as their licensed counselor. But he said pull the community together. I'm like, bam, that's it right there. He was talking about how to work on it, and with a plan that actually could work, not a plan that's a pie in the sky. The plan he has will actually work. It will actually do something. So right now, that is school board elections, let's hit them up. Let's hit them up. We got one, he's block walking all the time. And on Thursday at 6 o'clock, you can find him on Facebook Live answering questions. Yeah, let's do this. Let's excuse me, I can't even talk. Let's get started. Like I'm telling you before, we can do two things at once. You can sit and look at television and text. You can sit and look at television and ask a question of a candidate on Facebook or Instagram, Twitter, whatever, however. You could do Zoom and watch something. Because if the speaker's off and everything's off, the remote, they can't hear you anyway. You can do those things. We need to do them. We don't have time to rest. And what I mean rest, I mean vegetate out. We don't have time for that. We take care of yourself, yes, but it's too much for us to be doing than for us to say, I'm not going to do it. And please do not tell me, especially me, that you don't have time. Don't do that because I got you on that one. But we do have time. So we need to, like I said, I need you to sit up, shake your head, throw the cobwebs out, and get to work. And take somebody with you when you were doing this. But we got city council elections this year. Let's talk to these nuts. Our streets in Killeen and Harker Heights Temple, our streets is jacked up from the weather, which lets you know they didn't build all-weather streets. I don't know what kind of streets they built, but these streets are terrible. You got to the directions you used to go in, you can't. And I'm going to just say it, in Killeen on Elms Road, I used to shoot down Elms Road to go places. I ain't shooting down there no more. I'll be doing my car like they did on the Flintstones because I ain't had no tires. So we need to ask them about this. People running for council, don't ask them about the crazy question, are you going to raise my taxes? No. How are you repairing these streets? Are you repairing these streets to deal with the next snowstorm? If they say no, oops, we got a problem. Are the pipes and everything going to be insulated as though we lived in the northern states? If they say no, we got a problem. We know our state's electrical system is not worth a dime because it cracked up it messed up soon as we got cold. How long do we know this is going to happen? We knew years ago, but we have so many other things to ask our politicians about our everyday life. Let's start doing this. Come on, let's take this time and say, hey, you want my vote? Work for it. Work for it. Read the 87th session. Read what's going on. Read what's voted on this week. Read what's going on. George Floyd is going on this week. The rally in Austin, which means it's coming up. So join the virtual if you can't go. And email Sophronia Thompson and say whether you back her or not on the George Floyd bill. You back her, I back you. If you don't, just don't email her. But oh boy. But hey, we need to catch up on that, and we need to do it quickly. Time is moving. There's not enough time. The wait, we used to be able to. Okay, I'll wait and do that tomorrow. Don't do that. You better do it today. Because tomorrow is not promised. And tomorrow, guess what? 10 other things going to be going on. And you're not going to have time to do that anymore. Because so much is going to rapidly hit you, that's going to be put in the background somewhere. It's not going to get done. It won't get done at all. So let's wake up. Let's shake it up. Let's get moving. Let's talk to our friends. Let's shake them, wake them up. Shake them out the chair and say, let's go. Let's get to work. Spend an hour at least. You can. And just knock these things out and keep on moving. And also stop letting someone divert our attention off of us as a people somewhere else. It's okay to divert and come back, but don't stay over there because we have our own issues to follow and we have our own fight to battle to fight. And remember, when we fight, we win. But when we fight, we look around to the left, to the right. It's us. That's what we see. It's us. Well, I want to thank you for listening to me this morning on Kids Community Connections at 103.1. This morning, we had a nice little talk. Nice talk. You know what? This is going to be like the smooth year. It's going to be the year of accomplishments. We're going to do everything we said we're going to do. But I want to thank you for listening to Kids Community Connections at KISS 103.1. I want you to always remember, you cannot lead a negative life. You cannot lead a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.